Hi, I'm Zach, this is my wife Caitlin, and our friend Crystal. Our past adventures together, and desire to spend more time living in the moment, inspired us to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. Despite having 2 young kids and being novice sailors, we said goodbye to corporate America, sold just about everything, and moved on to a sailboat. Like and subscribe to follow along with us as we discover whether or not we are crazy to sail with our young family in a foreign country on a tiny boat. After we learned a ton during our shakedown sail, we ended up with a long list of boat projects to complete before we could set out again, so we got to work and started fixing problems. First thing we needed to do was get some more diesel.
So Istria's napping, Coco took Atlas to the park and she's gonna do a workout, and I'm hauling these diesel cans back and forth to the boat. So first I tried taking the diesel cans to the fuel dock here at the marina, and they didn't allow that. I got all the way in there even though my key card didn't have access. Somebody else let me in, and then unfortunately you have to dinghy in to get diesel apparently, and so they wouldn't go for that. And so then I came over, there's a gas station conveniently across the street from the marina. However, carts can't go across, so I had to lug it all by hand. Ta-da! It's nice to see a cart full of heavy diesel cans. I have moved them all. Now I can use the cart to take them back to the boat.
You might be wondering, why is Kate hauling diesel by hand? Well, you might remember from one of our previous episodes showing our first sail together on this boat that we had run out of gas. The fuel indicator still wasn't functioning, so we had no idea whether or not the tiny amount of diesel we had found in the jerry cans would be enough to get us over to the fuel dock. Rather than risk running out of fuel again, we decided to play it safe and do it the hard way.
Whew. Let's see if the captain wants me to do this second time. What do you say, Captain? Am I gonna do more?
Yeah, 2 more cans. We'll siphon 2 of these in there just to make sure we have enough to get the job done and get over to the fuel dock. At least that way we know we can maneuver in the marina. And then we'll fill them back up and have all 4 in reserve so we can never have the run out of diesel problem again. That was not fun. And then after that I'm gonna go shower because
yeah, what were you working on?
well, I was fixing the vent line out of our waste tank, and at one point the hose went like this and poured some liquid out. Yeah, it was almost hurl worthy, so it's not pleasant. I got it cleaned up, so
Yeah, how did
need a shower.
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Boat life!
The guys who are supposed to come look at the propane locker are delayed because one of the mega yachts over on the far dock evidently has rats in the bilge, and they did a full fumigation recently and it wasn't enough to get the suckers. So, you know, another perk for owning a relatively small boat, it's a little bit easier to not have an infestation of that. So he said that they'll be by in a couple hours or something like that to be able to take a look at it. So hopefully we'll get some propane action or some answers here soon.
Whew, okay, good. So here I was thinking, I heard this guy just tell you that there are rats in the bilge somewhere from down below, from below decks. I heard that and I was just like, oh, okay, wait, this would explain our cut propane line and we have all these like things wrong, and is it rats? But okay, good.
No, fortunately we have no rats. We got only 2 kids as pets on board. Right now I'm just getting the dinghy lower down again for like the 4th time in the last couple of days and getting the motor set up. The guy is supposed to come by here in a little bit of under an hour to come take a look at it, and hopefully we'll get an answer to that. And we can have a working out board and hopefully get the propane situation figured out. So checking items off the list and still waiting to hear back on the autopilot people, so we'll find out. Finally, I did a bunch of research on the macerator. I'm thinking I can get to it and diagnose it and maybe fix it without having to get really poopy. So that would be great. So fingers crossed for that.
Before I could get into that messy project, the guys who had previously worked on the propane system came to fix it. And shortly after that, the diesel mechanic swung by to take a look.
So they've got the fuel system more or less figured out. So what had happened was the vent in the back, there was actually a blockage. So it wouldn't allow diesel in because it needed to push air out. And so we could only put in about 10 liters at a time.
we had thought that it was full. And so we thought that, okay, there must be an indicator issue with the float. Well, the float seems to be working, and they cleared the blockage, and I'm able to add more fuel now, so we were able to actually get a full tank of gas. So that is a little vindicating, because it wasn't that we just ran out of gas and I was being careless. It's just there was actually a reason why there was no way we could get more gas in there, so I thought it was full. Funny thing is so when they opened up the tank to expose the float, it's basically like a cork on a lever, and so as the diesel rises, it moves up, and that changes the dial up here. The simplified version of it. I couldn't be in both places at once to test it, so I clipped it up and then checked over here, and sure enough it showed full. And then they just sealed up the tank again a minute ago, and it's still showing empty, even though I'm putting in a bunch of diesel right now. So he just asked me, do you remember if I undid the clamp? So they're opening it up again to see if that clamp is still attached to the float, and that would explain why it's not floating up and it's showing empty. It would be a really funny but dumb reason to have a broken indicator, so we'll see if that's the case. If not, I don't know, I guess back to the drawing board. Turned out they had in fact left the clip inside. Once they removed the clip and fixed a small air leak at the oil filter, everything was working perfectly. Our productive day of getting things done had just begun. This is Jimmy. He's the go-to guy down here for dinghy outboards. Turns out, the fuel line hose connector gasket was cracked, which prevented gas from getting to the motor. A quick run into town to get a new fitting, and $6 later, it was up and running strong. Start up. We're gonna go take a ride to the beach. Should be good. Okay.
First dinghy ride, finally. How many attempts has it taken to get here? 3? Maybe 3? 3 attempts? I think it's more than that. Maybe 3 days of attempts. But yeah,
As fast as we go.
fast enough. That's faster than not going.
Yeah. Faster than paddling. What do you think, Atlas? It's good? Alright. Getting the dinghy outboard working and heading to the beach was a huge morale boost for the whole crew. Feels good to actually have this working. Really good.
Big time. That's how good it feels.
Oh, it feels so good to get cooled off. Even if it is really showering.
Okay, Captain. What all did we get done today?
Oh man, let's see, where do we start?
So far today.
So far today. So first thing was guys showed up to work on our propane system. We weren't getting propane from the solenoid because when they did some work on it beforehand, they had cut the wire. Don't know why, but I got fixed. So we have propane now working so we can actually cook things, which is awesome. So that got fixed. They found a small air leak in one of the ow, what the? Something just pinched me.
Sissies.
Well, that distraction aside, we got the air leak in the diesel figured out. They found a small one right around the secondary fuel filter, I believe. Then we found that they worked on the autopilot too. Most of this was unexpected. We knew they were going to work on the propane, but we didn't know beyond that what was going to happen today. But workers just kept showing up, so yeah, it was a great day for that. So we got the autopilot fixed, we think. The trouble is they didn't really find anything. There was one kind of bad connection that wasn't really done well, so they redid that connection, and hopefully that's enough to make the difference. Lots and lots done. Oh, and then one of our neighbors, Sig, thank you, helped us get one of the cabin fans working for Crystal, so.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah,
A little excited.
she's excited. So, now we dinghy to the beach, finally. Feels good. Yeah, so we're gonna enjoy, and who knows what happens next. One of the best parts of travel is the unexpected. The beach we dinghied over to was one we had walked to a few days before. That day, a guy had been playing music on a metal drum, so I went over to get a closer look. His name was Miguel. The language barrier made it difficult to communicate, but he invited me to play along with him. It's moments like these that you can't plan for that make for memorable adventures.
What happened?
Zach just went and played that guy's instrument. I think he was just gonna go ask him what it was, and then I looked over and they were like jamming together.
Yeah, that was really cool.
What'd you get?
He gave me this necklace, which it is really cool.
Let me see. Wow.
Yeah, he just said, hey, play these notes, play this beat, and then jam together, which is really cool.
After getting so many projects done, we were eager to go out sailing again and put it all to the test. Before we could do that though, we had to provision up. While I finished wrapping up some projects on the boat, Crystal took the kids and Kate went to go get food. In the next episode, we take you out sailing, show you what some of life in La Paz is like as we prepare to leave the market. Thanks for watching. If you want to support us, please like and subscribe to the video. It helps us out a lot and we greatly appreciate it.